Welcome to Hyena 305. I'm your host, James, and this is episode 14. One more away from episode 15, and got my jersey ready because tonight we have a big night. It ain't just for one team, it's for two teams. But as far as I can say, I am college football ready. Not just for tonight's, but I'm also for today's because I'm watching other games. I might be attending one game as well. But big college football night. So the last video, I had a hurricane. We were talking about the Miami Hurricanes playing against Texas A&M. It is a true test of the schedule so far because in the first two games, Miami Hurricanes have defeated Bethune-Cookman. Shout out to Daytona Beach and Southern Mississippi, who was Frank Gore's senior son, played for Southern Mississippi, Frank Gore Jr. So in those two wins, Tyler Van Dyke with another impressive quarterback passing. But the big key here is the running game. The running game has been much better than the coach who shall not be named format last season. Henry Parrish Jr. Scores hat trick on the first game. In the last game, he scores the fourth touchdown of the season, and it's only week 2. Now it's week 3. Are they for real against Texas A&M's defense? Let's see. We'll see what happens. So I think this is the biggest test of the season, as next to Clemson later this year. So the big test tonight, it's going to happen at 9 o'clock our time, 8 o'clock Texas time. So with the Hurricanes in mind, teams are starting to really surprise us a little bit. And we're going to talk about that in a minute because I have one more thing to say about the Miami Hurricanes. Mario Cristobal has changed the Hurricanes for the first time since the days of Ed Reed back in 2001 when they won their championship. He changed what was Miami Hurricanes football. And to see this team really encouraged, really excited to play, and really hungry to win, I'm excited to see. As far as teams like Texas A&M, the Hurricanes still have tough battles, and we're learning this season. And we'll talk about that in a minute because we have something to talk about regarding college football. So yeah, that's the big test for tonight with Miami Hurricanes going up against Texas A&M. I'm pumped up for that match. It's going to be a good match. Texas A&M lost to Appalachian State, which is a underestimated school. It's one thing to be an ACC school, right? But the SEC, the toughest football conference in America, that's something huge. And I think if we win this game, not only it will improve our program, but it'll also improve the ACC's program as well. So Tyler Van Dyke and the offensive line, they got to do something. And one of the players has gone hurt and is out indefinitely, which is a loss. So let's see what happens this coming game tonight. Hopefully, it leads to the big results. Another game that I think we should talk about for tonight is FAU Owls. So for those of you who don't know, FAU is in Boca Raton. It's South Florida. So I take notice of that school. So tonight, they play against a Florida school from Orlando, Florida. UCF, University of Central Florida Knights. N'Kosi Perry with a good season so far, with 2 wins and 1 loss. This is a true test for them. They have high expectations. So how does this game take for N'Kosi Perry going up against John Rice Plumlee for UCF? So FAU Owls, they're coming in 2-1 with 1-0 in the Conference USA. So the thing is with FAU Owls is that they've beaten some pretty easy teams like Southeast Louisiana, 42-9. They lost a close match against Ohio, but they won a big one from Charlotte. That's their first game. But this is a true test because UCF was meant to be a big team and was going to be in a top 25 and was going to be probably pushing towards to go to the bowl game or perhaps maybe a championship, which is pretty sketchy, which is pretty big to say. However, last week, Louisville Cardinals happened. Louisville defeated UCF 20-14. And that is a big loss for UCF. How does this loss affect them? And will they turn around against FAU? If they don't get over that loss, FAU is going to beat them. And it's going to be in Florida Atlantic University. Our contributors is going. So it's a big game. It's bigger than we anticipate because it's two Florida schools, of course, and one with high expectations, and the other one has something to prove. UCF has high expectations, and it's not going the way that they have hoped for. Take Louisville, for example. But FAU, they have a lot to prove. They have a lot to prove. If they can beat this team at home, then maybe FAU might be in contention of being the top 25 team. So with that in mind, UCF is in a lot of pressure against FAU. But who knows? I'm going to watch that game as well. I want to see what happens. And it might be a good game. It's going to be a good game. However, Louisville, we could say they might have a lucky win because they have beaten UCF last week. But last night, this is the one team I want to talk about with the Hurricanes. And obviously, any Canes fans know this by now. I have to mention the Florida State Seminoles, FSU. They are 3-0 this season, and they have beaten Louisville when they beaten UCF. So with Florida State, they have beaten LSU on a thriller PAT block, and they have beaten them in a close game when they played against Louisville. But in doing so, they have lost their quarterback. They have lost their quarterback, Jordan Travis. So prayers to him. So who knows what's going to happen with FSU? They got Boston College, yes, next. But I brought up FSU because, like I said, Hurricane, just because we're to win these games doesn't mean we're going to actually win. We have to take these predictions with a grain of salt because they're good teams. And we don't take them seriously and we underestimate them. Teams like Florida State, North Carolina, and Virginia is going to chew us apart. And we cannot let that happen. So that's pretty much my piece with college football. I am excited for tonight. It's going to be a good night of college football, especially in the state of Florida. So FIU is off tonight. Like I said, we have the UCF taking on FAU. Miami Hurricanes are playing against the Texas A&M, the big game. Florida, another battle of Florida is against USF Bulls, University of South Florida, traveling up to Gainesville where they play against the Florida Gators. That's another Florida matchup. So there's two of them, two Florida matchups: UCF versus FAU, USF versus Florida. So yeah, that's going to do it for college football night. I'm excited what's going to happen tonight with college football for all, not just for our teams, but all the Florida schools, because I think it's important because Florida football, it's always hot. It's the hottest sport in the state, football. And to not only prove that it's the hottest sport in the state, we don't just talk about college football teams. We also got to talk about the NFL team. and of course our favorite golden team, Miami Dolphins versus New England Patriots Week 1 recap. And I went to this game, and I did not regret spending a bunch of money on this, as well as paying for my friends. It is an enjoyable event. Really hot game. Really hot. It was 100 degrees that day. They had beaten the New England Patriots 20-7. So the Miami Dolphins offense did not commit any turnovers. However, the defense of the Miami Dolphins committed 2 turnovers. An interception by Holland in the end zone, and a fumble near the end of the game that ultimately wind down the clock to win the game. But with Jason Sanders with the field goal, Melvin Ingram with the 2-yard fumble. So in that game, when there's two turnovers, we got 2 fumbles. 2 fumbles in that game. You could also say an interception was another one. So technically, 3 turnovers. 2 fumbles, 3 turnovers because of 1 interception by Holland. So Melvin Ingram, near their own end zone, sacks Mac Jones, strips the ball away, scoops it up, and running it for a touchdown. That is the first touchdown of the Dolphins this season, and that would put them up 10-7. Next, Jalen Waddle, 42-yard pass from Tua Tagovailoa. And this was an interesting and gutsy by Dan. It was 4th and 8. 4th and 8. Passed it from the midfield to Jalen Waddle, who sprints through the defense all the way to the touchdown. So, Penguin getting it done as well. So that is all for the touchdowns. New England Patriots with the former Packer Ty Montgomery with the 6-yard pass from Mac Jones. This was not the touchdown that we should have given up, because the defense just left them wide open. Unacceptable defense. And I think Mike McDaniel should take the defense, have some defense accountability, because that was poor defending. While they're focusing on the run game, they forgot to take initiative. That Ty Montgomery on the right side of their own field was wide open. Nobody was there. Wide open. Easy touchdown for the New England Patriots, but that is the touchdown that they wrote. Jason Sanders with the 49-yard field goal, which I really thought that the play prior was a pass interference. The defender was there on Tyreek. I don't know if it was Tyreek. I was so far away. There was a pass interference that did not get called. He was early. He put his hands on him early before the ball even reached him, and no pass interference. It's a clear and obvious pass interference that they did not call. But fortunately, Jason Sanders with a 49-yard field goal would put the game away 20-7. The end of the game, there was a fumble that would win us the game. So that is a great game to watch, an enjoyable one. And how about Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill with 8 receptions, 94 yards. So one of them was a great one play before Jalen. It was one-handed grab by Tyreek Hill, and it was smothered by the defense. A one-on-one coverage. One hand the football and still ran for a first down. How did he do it is beyond me. They gave Odell Beckham Jr., but he can play football. Dolphins made a great trade to get Tyreek Hill of the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is the Week 1 recap for the Miami Dolphins. Fins in the Sea podcast. Want to learn more about the Miami Dolphins and how the season's going? Go check out Fins in the Sea. Jeremiah is the host of that podcast. He'll tell you everything you need to know about the Miami Dolphins this season. So let's talk about a prospect, Jordan Groshans. He is a player from the Toronto Blue Jays that we traded Anthony Bass for, and he has made a pretty fast start in the first few games. He has hit a base hit, which is the first one of his career, and in the game against the Philadelphia Phillies, 3 for 3. It was a home run, his first career home run, and then afterwards he hit 2 base hits. One was a single, I think. But the important thing with him, he is the 6th Marlins player in history to score his first career home run from the infield. So it looks like the players that done that was Joe Dundan, Gerard Encarnacion, J.J. Bleday, Charles LeBlanc, and Peyton Burdick. Sixth player this season, which ties from 2021, which is 2 shy of the club record, which was 1999 to 2013. So what Marlins Communications is saying, 6 prospect player from the minor leagues to hit a home run this season. 6th player. Not talking about all time, but this season. That's pretty impressive. So maybe the general manager has a good case right there. But still, the Marlins got eliminated. No surprise. So I think what they should do, I personally think Manny Gal. I think his time is up with the Marlins. His lineup cards make no sense sometimes, and he makes some pretty bad moves that would ultimately lose us the game. And we got a news. I didn't even put it in the thing, but Bruce Sherman made it clear he is not selling this team, and the Marlins fans were begging him to sell the team. So, to be fair with Bruce Sherman, this is only his 5th year on the rebuild. But it seems like he is more critically invested in this team. And he's made a promise that he's going to not only do everything he can, but to be so committed to in this offseason to create not only a championship caliber, which that's too much to ask, but a consistently good baseball team that will benefit the South Florida community. That is the promise that he has given back at September 12th. We have learned this from Barry Jackson. He has made a promise to the South Florida. He is going to be more invested and more focused than ever this offseason to give us a good team. The pitching needs some work. And I'm referring more of the relief pitching. The starting pitching is great. I love the starting pitching. It's the bullpen that I despise. They blow it, and the outings of starting pitchers are constantly wasted. And Trevor Rogers had an awful season. When I went to see him play against the Texas Rangers, he went nearly 7 innings with 9 strikeouts. That is a great outing, but it was once again wasted by our bullpen. To add insult to injury with the really bad bullpen, our offense is still struggling. Maybe there's hope after all, but oh boy, they need help with the offense. They seriously need help. Jazz is going to be back next season. I'm confident that he's going to stay with the Marlins. Jorge Soler, I'm 50-50, but I want to say he's probably going to stay with Miami because I personally think he loves Miami. That's his heritage. What I think is he has something to prove for next season. The injuries held him back this season. He was not able to go on his home run tear like he did with the Atlanta Braves, especially in the World Series last year, that he once did. So that's something to watch for next season. And with Jorge Soler, he's making $12 million, and a year after goes to $9 million. What happens for Jorge Soler? Mauricio Garcia, I'm thinking he might stay. I don't know for sure. Who really should go is the coaches, the hitting coach, and I really think we need a better hitting coach and a new manager. Manley cannot do it anymore. I'm sorry to say, he just cannot do it anymore. This franchise has been dwindled down for a pretty long time. So hopefully there's a change. I'm heartbroken that the Marlins is really really bad offensively, and our elite pitching is terrible as well. So, and because of it, they are eliminated from the playoffs. And also, not to mention, when they played against the Nationals last night, they were leading 4-0, and their bullpen completely screwed up, and they lost 5-4. The people who should really be gone is Cole Sulser and Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott is awful. He is inconsistent. I don't think he deserves to be in a Marlins uniform. He's gone. We need a legit closer. Tanner Scott ain't one of them. So we need bottom line, we need a better relief pitching because Marlins have been officially eliminated from the playoffs. But speaking of playoffs, Inter Miami playoff hope is still alive? Maybe. So Inter Miami, they played against Columbus Crew at Dry Pink Stadium, and they have won a really critical game on Tuesday. They have won 2-1, and both goals were scored by Gonzalo Higuain, who is a former World Cup player from Argentina. 2 goals from Gonzalo Higuain to finish the game up late when Cucho Hernandez was the one equalized during the game. So with that win, they are still they're in 9th place because in the standings, New England Revolution lost to Houston Dynamo. Atlanta United have won against Orlando City. And Inter Miami beat Columbus Crew. So there's a chance. There's a big, small chance. It's a mountain to climb. But I think there's still a shot. And here's what they need to do. Obviously, it's to win the game. But a win against DC United is heavily important because this game is on the road. And Inter Miami is not good on the road. They only won 2 games on the road this season compared to I want to say about 13 road matches. And we are in the month of September. The season started in February. That's a long time. So if there's any win to do so, it's this one. DC United is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. In fact, I say they're in favor of winning what my friend will call it a wooden spoon. They are that bad. If we cannot beat DC United, then we are just as bad. Just saying. Then the next match, we got Toronto FC in Toronto, Canada. That's a tough match because, again, we're on the road, and we're heavily against being on the road. Then after that, we got against Orlando City at home, which is a rivalry game. That's October 5th. And decision day against CF Montreal on October 9th. So about 4 matches left. So, while MLS season is about to end at that point, guess who's ready? Florida Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk actually went to a Marlins game, and he was the one that did the first pitch. And I just missed him. I was going to say hi, and I just missed him because I left after game 1. He was there at game 2 against the Texas Rangers, and he was ready. He is ready to play hockey for the Florida Panthers. He is hungry. He is motivated, just like the whole team is motivated to get to that playoff contention again and to ultimately make a run for the Stanley Cup and win it for the first time in franchise history. It cannot be a Tampa Bay Lightning. And speaking of Tampa Bay Lightning, When he came in and signed a trade sign-in deal, first one in NHL history, 8 years, years. He always said, "I hate the Baylor." He is that type of dude who can get in their opponent's head and make them angry and make them make bad decisions. And that is the kind of player that we need on our offense. I think Matthew Tkachuk is motivated. I'm motivated to watch the Florida Panthers as well. So it's going to be fun to watch what happens when the NHL season does start. But yeah, folks, that's going to do it for High Heat 305, episode 14. Let me know what you think. College football tonight, really important, not just for FAU and Miami Hurricanes, but for the rest of the state. So, yeah, folks, on behalf of FL teams, I thank you for watching, listening, and we have your back. When we do, we'll be right there with you. The entertainment you deserve. Good night, enjoy, and go Hurricanes.